or Sunsplash you bring back. Me say Sunsplash actually is huge in Europe, but it have nothing to do with us. How the frig we lose that?
Ratata me attack or just the other side?
Let save it for the podcast. I'm ready. We can go. Now we start the stopwatch. Hi guys, welcome to this week's episode of the earnings season. I'm at RT Row, Randy Row, and of course,
and I'm Danhai at H Danhai.
And of course, you know what we do every week. We talk about what we feel like. Usually it's about business. Usually you guys like it. I hope you like this week. You know, because sometimes we talk because we like when me and Danhai talk because I think we have a lot to say. And of course, sometimes we're lucky enough to have a really good guest. This week we have a good guest, somebody I'm proud to call my brethren. So can we get the bios out of the way early? My brethren, one and only, Tyrone.
Yeah, man. Big
Mr.
up.
iCreate himself. Introduce yourself, Tyrone. Introduce yourself properly. Or should I say, sorry, CEO. Apologies,
CEO,
sir.
yeah, man,
Apologies, sir. Yes, you know what? That's familiarity breed content. My grandmother was right. Let me go again. This week on earnings season, we have the CEO of a listed company on the JSC.
Yeah, big still, isn't it?
Huge. Because not one of those older persons. No disrespect to anybody older, but somebody from our generation. So we're proud to see it. The CEO of iCreate, Mr. Tyrone Wilson. Yes. Also, I believe, CEO of the eMedia group.
Yes, eMedia Interactive Group. Greetings.
There we go. Big up. Welcome, Tyrone. And so, you know what I like? A lot of the guests come on, they're not necessarily always familiar with how we do it. So it's literally not an interview. We literally just talk. We shoot the shit.
Because I'm here waiting on the questions.
And the questions, right? Well, damn, I know sort of questions. We talk about your life, we talk about your work, we talk about everything. We see where it go and then we'll get too bored, we'll cut it off. Of course, I'll tell you this, we will ask you about stocks. Meaning what you like, what you don't like, what you think about, what people don't, and that's a good way to start. Tell us about your lifestyle.
And those iCreate.
Yeah, you can't tell man.
Like my stocks.
Yeah,
you like stocks have.
I like the stock now too at this price, right?
Yeah,
We'll
right.
start eating early, but let me start first with the personal. Because some people might know, some people might know. Tell us your personal life. How you start up? Where you go to school? Usual.
I mean, you know, funny enough, I don't really talk about the personal much, but always proud to say I went to the best high school, Jamaica College, you know.
It's pronounced Arden. Sorry.
That's like Switzerland.
Oh.
But you know, I think that's where I kind of got exposed to the whole culture of entrepreneurship, you know. JC, as you know, we kind of boast a solid list, you know, pioneering entrepreneurs.
That's correct.
In corporate Jamaica, and you know, you kind of walk through the hallways and you see the plaques and the names and everything. And then as you get older, you start to appreciate more, you know, who these people are and what they've done and so forth. And you know, just through the whole connection, you get to, you know, meet some of these JCO boys and so forth. But I would say my kind of journey, passion as an entrepreneur, like I grew up in the ghetto, Kintyre, Papine. And my father used to, I tell the story, you know, a few times, but my father name is Roland. And, you know, he used to have some business cards and letterhead and company seal and all of that. Say he's a businessman, Rolex trading. My father don't have a business. Don't have a business, but he always have him, you know, business cards and everything. And so from a very young age, primary school, and so they ask you, where you want to be when you grow up? You know, typical question. And my response was always businessman. So I think in my mind, you know, I was always kind of exposed to that and just wanted to be that. Never know what it means. In primary school, you know, but
the funny thing, you know, always businessman, what they do.
Yeah, everybody else have something and you get up and say businessman, you know, and it's like,
clap.
Yeah. So I think that's that kind of, you know, just being exposed to that and so forth. So that JC and then just having can say like a shitload of time.
You can say anything you want, man. Man. Podcast.
A lot of time and man's at university.
UWI?
UWI,
Okay.
which just, you know, with all the time, you know, just free time, decide when you want to go to class, if you want to go to class, nobody running behind you. You find yourself drifting to doing, you know, what you love. And the whole journey of starting up and everything and building out, coming up with the ideas, writing it out in a business plan and everything was at UA.
All right, that's all. You get the free time at UA and you use the right business plan.
Yeah, so like in free time more productive than mine. Yeah, even so, like definitely more productive than mine.
I even miss an exam. Working on my business plan.
Better get this money.
Like I totally forgot finance and development or something like that. One of those courses. Like literally in my dorm room on Chancellor, writing, working on a business plan and like, yo, shit, I have an exam today. By the time I look on the time, exam finished. No joke.
What them did they make you do it over?
Yeah, man, I tell the lecturer I was sick.
Oh, so. Well, the lecturer now listen.
Yeah, man, so I got to do it over, you know?
Man, actually, boy, you make me feel bad about the whole college thing.
Yeah, can't waste time. Yeah. But you know, the thing the lecturer could listen and say, the lecturer story different, you know, because the lecturer go sit Tyrone on the TV and say, you know, so that boy, he was sick and him come and talk to him and do the exam.
I gave him a chance.
Man. But I remember, I can't forget Dr. Tennant. Yeah.
Big up Dr. Tennant for that. Yeah. Big up Dr. Tennant. He's responsible for our CEO. Yeah.
Same so.
Well, like that. So you go high school, you do business. What kind of business was your first business you start?
This one. eMedia.
eMedia.
Yeah. So I'm sitting here and I'm looking at Backyard magazine, Amilcar. I remember like looking at Backyard like 10, 12 years ago, right? Because this was what I remember, it was 2006, right? And the idea was to start a magazine, an entertainment magazine company.
Yes.
Right? So I wanted to do something like Jamrock magazine, do something like Backyard magazine, and distribute it regionally, you know? It would be lifestyle, entertainment, culture. I remember going to Rebel Salute that year. Buju was performing, and we were on the Guild. I was on the Guild of Students then. I was the publications chairperson, so I was responsible for all the student newspaper, campus newspaper, magazines, all of that. So that's where I kind of got my, like, the Gleaner, writing for Youth Link first, but then taking over on the Guild of Students, having a responsibility for a big budget. This was like the first kind of exposure to business in such a formal structure, being on the Guild. So I was now, you know, thinking for profit because it was always a cost kind of center. So I was now thinking, all right, how am I going to make money from this? Like, not just take the Guild budget and spend it, but how can I now earn advertising dollar and everything?
Actually bring money back into it.
So
that's a smart business.
Yeah, man. So we had a newspaper, the Tussle. So that was founded by Delroy Chuck. So it was an old paper, right? It was a PR paper. So this was now the PR paper at the Guild. So it was supposed to show the good work that the Guild does. You know? And we know the Guild has 90% of the population, student population, don't think the Guild
does anything.
I saw this and it was literally printed in the Guild office on the printer, black and white, right?
Wow.
And just send out a few because nobody give a shit.
And nobody paid for it
either. Right? Yeah. So I saw it and I was like, yo, can turn this in a glossy magazine.
Okay.
You know, so I reach out to B-Mobile, Digicel, all of those people and, you know, do up a media kit and send it out. And to my surprise, I got the advertising and it funded itself. So move it from a black and white in the Guild office to a full glossy magazine.
Going out. Yeah. And self-funded.
Self-funded.
Students had to pay for it?
It was free. And that was the advantage for the advertisers because, all right, you have a student population of X, you're going to distribute 2,500 times that by 3. You have a circulation about 7,500 captive audience. You know, you just create the content and trust me, like, you know, that was kind of my first taste of the publishing thing. So,
like people hear that? You hear him go a while ago? Immediately define the universe, define the distribution, define the thing that make it easier so it's free, then define the sell to the company. So the advertisers is who I'm getting the money from.
Then basically somebody with no business.
Yep.
Exactly.
So,
Well, I
like-
could tell Carl the first thing you say is that you're looking to make it profitable.
Profitable, yeah.
Because the funny thing about the publications committee, most of the people who got appointed to it in the past were Karamak students.
People
or
looking to learn, push the writing skills.
You're right. So
Yeah.
they were like more the journalism, you know, and I was more the business.
Business side.
So my paper used to have a lot of errors, grammatical errors.
You could work in a newspaper business.
But it was
now.
profitable. So, you know, it just like, it's not, it wasn't digital then. So you print that shit and that was it. But we made money. And that for me, you know, was like, all right, I'm going to start my own business. Put that on my resume and went out starting to pitch, you know. So I see the backyard again and we say, oh, this is a magazine we're going to do, and if we can get Buju Bant on the cover, like, well, it will sell. Right? So I remember this time I was on the Gill still, and we're broke, right? We don't have no money. We're on campus, and we're like, yo, how am I going to get down to Junction, St. Elizabeth, to interview Buju? I have my camera and everything already, right? And I got a media pass because I had a website called yardmedia.com.
Okay.
Right?
Back in the days when people used to review parties.
Yeah. But it was, so I had that and I found a slip.
Write
You
it
know,
back,
right.
write it off. Yeah.
But this was around town. You know?
Go on, talk.
I found a slip that
You
said,
don't you are
I
confused.
found a slip that said transport to Alpha Tree.
Wow.
So I just crossed it out and put Junction.
You really were in the UE Guild.
Like, that was how I got to Junction. No,
Okay.
that was one way.
Oh, shit.
It was not to go and come
Wow.
back. But
So you're stuck in a junction center.
never
now.
cared. Wanted to interview Buju. We figure out how to get back to Kingston after that. And we went down there and literally Buju did his performance and run from the stage just straight into his van. No interviews. No cover story. So you know, but that's journalism. But you know, pitch that idea and it turned into what was Easings Limited. So
Which is where I think most people would have started knowing you.
most people knew me then, right? And when that was 11 years ago, when digital did not exist, you know, we were saying digital is the future. And we started eZines with a huge email database and sell to advertiser again the same thing we sold when we were on the Gill about the reach and X and Y. And tell them that, listen, we have this reach, X% open the email, we could show them how many read, what pages are read, who share it with a friend, we could get those data. And you know, that's how we kind of roll out and get started, and then the business just evolve over time. Some things were shelved, some things was we're earning but not enough. You know, you find that with success, the more ambitious, if you're very ambitious, you know, you get a taste of success and you know, it look like a great plan and a great idea, and then you're like, yo, I'm not gonna make much profit from this, so why not, you know, just do something else? So that's been my journey for about, like, I've started this company 11 years now, eMedia, bootstrap it for a good while, but I spent the first 5 or 6 years figuring it out. You know, so a lot of people like get greedy and just try to make money and buy a car and buy a house and whatever. Like, there was a lot of easy money opportunities that came.
Yeah.
But for me, it was like, all right, how am I going to build a stock exchange company? You know, like, because when I just started, you know, the junior stock exchange was just launched.
Yeah, by then the Junior Stock Exchange will launch about 10 years ago, so 09.
So JLP went around 2007. And little after, Dan Webby was Minister of State in Finance. And, and then the junior market came.
Yeah, he suggested
and Access launch, and I was like, yo, that's where I'm going. Like, this makes sense.
Yes.
So I need to find an idea that can go on the stock exchange.
That's true.
So I've been, for the first 5 years of my entrepreneurial journey, I've been kind of trying to figure out how can we find, you know, something proper? Or can we, what are we about? You know, so we move from digital media to creative to online TV.
Yes, so
Remember
that
iView TV.
that one was a big deal for me because I was excited at one time.
Yeah,
Tyrone, the
man.
launch, I think, like iView TV, they call it.
Yeah.
Tyrone, ahead of him time, and I'm telling him that the other day, we see him working the other night at Kalila to say really ahead of him time. Launch iView TV, and it was supposed to be essentially
Netflix
just
of the
live
Caribbean.
TV. Yeah,
Yeah.
essentially. Long before everybody was talking about it, expecting it, he wanted to do it. But of course, almost when you build them things from scratch, it's almost like you have to do everything, right? Guys? So
Yeah,
Tyrone
man,
work on the business, the infrastructure, and then you have to try to push the content also.
And then we have a board, because by then Richard Biles just became our chairman. So, you know, you have all of that handling. And the truth is the online TV required a lot of money for content. What we underestimated when we started iView. So we got the investment from Sagicor, right? 30 million, 350,000 US at the time, 30 million.
Private equity.
And you know, that was a big deal because young
Huge
entrepreneurs weren't getting that.
Still a huge deal.
Still not
Still
get
a
that.
huge deal. Right now, it's still hard for a man to put together. But
get
we know
30
for the
million.
people eyes that listen, eyes ask us what they want here. We just point out some of the little steps. You say you had a board. Why you go at a board so early? Most people, you have to
Yo,
pull them,
I
kicking and
let me
screaming
tell
to
you,
get on a
Forget that
board.
board.
The funny thing, you see the spare time I had at university. I learned all of that, you know.
The reality of it. How you learn
Yeah,
it?
for me, it was like you're interested in business, and then you just start research.
There we go.
Right. And then
Right.
you
Man sound like me too.
Right.
then you start pick some courses now
Yeah.
that are aligned, right? So
Okay,
it was tight for me because I was studying banking and finance, my degree, and it was a special at the time. Wasn't a major, wasn't a minor, it was a special. It was new. Only 40 people were accepting, so there weren't many electives you could choose. But they had some good econ and management studies courses, you know, within the constraints of it. And I remember entrepreneurship and venture creation, MS34A, can't forget it. One of the only entrepreneur courses at UA. Entrepreneurship degree did not exist then.
Yeah.
This was the only entrepreneurship course, and I was like, yo, I need to do that. And I signed up for it, and them said I can't do it because I'm in econ and this is for management studies. And I remember calling Dr. Gavin Chen and got to his office and pitch and say, yo, doc, you have to accept me in this course. Like, I have a business plan that I'm stuck, need to know how to write it and complete it, and this is the only course I say that can help me to do it.
Wow.
Right? And that course now kind of start expose you to entrepreneurship, you know, just certain things, boards and private equity. And then I was doing banking and finance. I was doing certain courses, you know, that also exposed me around the commercial banking side and the investment banking side.
So you
and
see where the
everything.
money is.
Right. So both sides. So I was doing a lot of research, and that venture course was so important for me as part of the research. It was so important that I got the lecturer fired. Like,
You know, we just ask you who was the lecturer.
yeah, I don't even remember his name, but we're in the course, get a coursework. There was 2 streams. He was doing one, another lecturer. Get the coursework results, 2 out of 5. I said, all right, cool. I wanted this A. Like, there was no other course I care about.
But you want A in it.
This course was important. 2 out of 5. So I go to the class, you know, students ask, don't want to answer. Second test, 2 out of 5. Means I'm not learning anything. So we reach a class now and the students are asking him some question and him not answer. I'm like, sir, you realize we're paying you to be here, right? Like, we are paying you. And I'm like, who is you? And start. I'm like, no, we ask questions and you not answer. I don't know if you realize you're not pay yourself to be here, or we are pay you. So I'm not even too happy about my last test. And you come here and not answer our question. I'm gonna do
get that.
I'm gonna do a petition and I'm gonna say, yo, I'm gonna go. Right? Because I'm not learn nothing, and this course is important for me.
Yeah, can you imagine you beg for do the course and then fail it?
And then fail.
Because the lecturer,
One of a few A's, right? So we get an A-, and if we never get the 2 out of 5 consecutively,
Yeah, I get that
in a
plus.
row would I get a plus. So the research, back to the point, the research was important. So those things that you learn about boards and what I did a course too, right? Was a law course, regulator framework of banking and finance. Shirley and Eaton taught it. Can't forget it.
Man,
I can't forget
them fully. I
no,
like that.
I can't. Those courses that impacted me on a business level, I can't forget them because that course was all about FinSac. Because it was talking about the new rules that were implemented by the government to avoid
a repeat of FinSac.
Yes,
Okay.
it was regulatory framework of banking and finance. So this was 2005, 2006, right? I was doing the course.
Yeah, but what, second, third year then?
Yeah, second, third year. But we're learning about things that happened like 7 years ago.
Yeah.
So you can imagine like it was fresh.
That very few people even know, even today, know or care about.
Yeah, so some of the things that,
too young them time.
some of the things that like went wrong, amongst the financial businesses, big time was a lot about corporate governance. So you learn those things and then the measures that were put in place to avoid another FinSac and blah, blah, blah. So you start learning about boards and committees and risk committee and all of these things.
Yeah.
So going into business for me at 21, right out of college, like I know exactly which board for try set up, how to set it up. I never start with a board of directors. I started with an advisor board because I never want nobody tell me what to do. I never want to be bounded by decisions of a board. Starting that early, but still needed the advice of very experienced people. But you still listen. But if you do your own thing, sometimes you're all right because it's an advisor board. So that's how I kind of learned.
Do you remember the first? Who did you get to teach a class after?
I don't remember the lecturer, but I know I was happy.
You're happy
with the lecturer, and I got an A-.
Well, like that. So you set up your first board. You remember your first board?
So my first advisor board was with Chris Williams. CEO
Start off with a big name.
Big
up Chris Williams. Chris from Proven.
And Sherry Martin.
Yes. Also heavy
she was
name.
head of marketing at NCB at the time. So those two were my, they were investors too. Chris was an investor. And then Sherry came on a little bit down. And, that was our advisor board. And we met every month. If I make 100,000, we come and report on the 100,000. Or we spend it. Like these were the numbers in 08. Like
still
100,000 in revenues.
150,000
in revenues. Salaries, CEO salary 40,000, if any at all. Right? Rent at PIC 35,000, and you report on that. Right? You develop the discipline. Because for me, stock exchange was
the goal.
Was a goal. Was the goal.
Proper goals.
You develop this discipline and you build your brand and you start to learn it very early. I mean, on it now, there's just so much to learn. And you realize that, boy, you can never start too early. Never.
That is true.
Right.
Yeah. That is true.
Man, start properly. Like, look how much business people we interact with. Them start poorly. And they don't have the proper systems in place so they can grow properly. And I talk about profit before you have his own business.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's known. Well, I don't want to say it's a known thing, but in every case you see, you touch upon the research, you touch upon it with the advisory. See, a board, somebody else that can help you make the decision.
Yes.
And I mean, he was very deliberate about what he wants to learn. So he invited him in space to learn about in businesses. So he knows where he wants to be. And he knows I need to learn this fight. And put himself in a place to learn it.
A bossy.
Yep.
And of course, at end with the stock. So as you say, if you start with a company, also means you kill a lot of companies. You say you rationalize, you have to say you kill off a whole heap of stuff. What do you have now? What do you have now on the boards? Obviously, there's a big one, iCreate, which is the listed entity.
So iCreate, Creative Training Institute. So what we've evolved into, like when I speak about it, my why and what I'm doing, right now, because I consider myself an entrepreneur, can probably go in any business after, kind of going through this process and learning more. Still a lot to learn from a CEO, kind of making that transition as an entrepreneur to being a CEO, and the stock exchange get you in line with that very quick. But now my vision kind of goal is to, develop our creative economy. And when we look at the creative economy, people call it creative industries. That's the first thing. So it's very young and not so important to overall economic growth. But when you look at countries like Britain, makes up 5% of GDP, and it's the fastest growing section of their overall economy, not just in Britain but also in China, right?
And China will grow so
growing
fast.
significantly right now in China. China's creative economy right now is leading a lot of things in terms of growth.
In fact,
So
continue.
yeah, man. So when we look at things like the 5-in-4 plan by the government,
politics on the podcast, my lord.
no man, it's not politics, but when you look at things like the 5-in-4, backside and financial services and
Correct.
so forth won't be enough.
That's true.
Right?
That's
So
true.
we
That's
have,
true.
like, the only way you're gonna experience economic growth is if you kind of have some other industries that
Yeah,
can
man.
evolve.
And
Wait.
can include everyone,
Everybody.
including
So
the
that's-
youth.
that's what I like about
And
thing
it's
there.
exportable because
Definitely.
creative economy and services within the creative economy is one of the easiest things
Easy
to export.
Yeah.
Music has been like
And you start on a level playing field because a man in America versus here, like, the amount of resources available to him.
The same amount of resources,
Yeah.
the same Photoshop,
Same,
Yeah.
exactly.
Same
Same
Photoshop.
thing.
It's just a matter of who more talented.
Precisely.
You're not limited by environment if you can, if as a person, you're exporting my
get
expertise.
jobs.
Yeah.
You get
Exactly.
jobs.
So, man, same thing we talked about last episode.
Yeah.
So that's the thing. Like, my job now is to kind of aid in the development of the creative economy, and we're doing that through several things. We're doing that on the training side, or doing it on the production side. On the training side at iCreate, we're building a cadre of talent, and a lot of people will look at iCreate and they look at certain things at face value. But I remember when Richard Byers was my chairman, we had a discussion and he spoke about it too at the launch of iCreate, right? And he was telling me when he was CEO of First Life, which was a Panjam company.
Yes.
That's Life of Jamaica bought. So LOJ bought it, came under LOJ, everything evolved into Sagicor Group and so forth. But I remember Baz, was telling me about when you only had one actuary at
First side.
First Life. If it's not First Life, it's LOJ, one of them. But one actuary, and that person wasn't even Jamaican.
Wow.
Right? We didn't have an actuarial training program in the country. So you can imagine why FinSac happened, right?
Yeah. What a fun thing, because Danhai ended up being we went through the actuarial training program.
Yeah.
Eventually, so I guess, but Danhai younger, so then
Yeah.
Baz would have helped to create
Yeah.
that thing that has, it's a whole heap of things. I mean, well Danhai and I don't know, I can't say we give Richard Baz a hard time. We've never given him a hard time online.
Publicly,
Publicly we don't give him a hard time.
No.
You go like you like sports.
Yeah.
If you like your team, you cuss your striker, well, still you're a striker.
No man, Baz.
So, we rate Baz, but
he's a genius.
I don't know if people have given enough credit in terms of the things that he'd have touched in terms of building out Jamaica or something like that. And
Push
But
the
I mean,
industry.
that's his personality. He's not gonna really. I mean, he doesn't think about that at all. To be honest, he's just someone who's locked in and focused. And
Let's see where he is now.
doing right.
I'm happy to hear that. Yeah, big up the governor of the Bank of Jamaica, Richard Baz.
Chairman of everything. You're at that place in the Sagicor group.
Yeah.
Big group. And you get up and say, I'm going to help Jamaica.
Step to it, yeah. But we don't want to water down Tyrone interview
definitely.
because when Mr. Baz, if you have the time,
used to
we'll have you here.
the used to it,
Yeah, used to it. They mention, what time. But no, I like your story. I see your run go iCreate. I don't know if I want. Should I pressure you on iCreate? Yeah. I mean, what?
Yeah, but
Why did you start? You're on the right. You're on the right path. Finish.
Yeah. So the same comparison with the actual, financial industry.
Yeah, that he wanted it, but he's only had the one and it wasn't
Yeah.
Jamaican.
So
it
I
it didn't
remember,
exist.
can you imagine 2006, right? 2004, when I started UA, only 40 people were being accepted into banking and finance.
Yeah.
Course, it was a fresh course.
Only 40
That's a
people.
specialty program
right?
too. That's a major.
Post
minor.
FinSac.
Again,
Post
I have to
FinSac.
do some convincing to get in the program.
That is true.
Because
Yeah.
it's accounting I applied for because I'm like really good at accounts, right? And for some strange reason they accepted me for political science. I was like, what the hell? But I got into banking and finance. 40 people alone. Now look at our industry now, right?
Yeah.
Look at our stock exchange.
Yeah.
Can you imagine if UA didn't expand on
And
their
push it.
programs?
Yeah.
There's a lot of people out there know that NCB, Sagicor,
Exactly.
Scotia, all
Couldn't
of these
hire.
people couldn't hire who had a knowledge about finance to aid like the high growth that you're seeing is fueled by people.
That's
Right?
100% correct.
It's fueled by people who know how to put what where, who know what to invest in, what not to invest in, what to buy, all of these things. It comes from human resource. So when I'm kind of taking a pioneer approach now with the creative economy, and at iCreate, that's the type of pioneering approach we're taking. Like, we're gonna build the creative economy, but when you look at the value chain, any value chain, but the creative economy value chain, it begins with training. So you have training, then you have conceptualization, then you have production, then you have distribution. Right? That's it. And whatever the product is, if it's film, people have to know for shoot and edit and do all of these
And
things
direct and all of that.
first,
Yeah. Act, blah,
right?
blah, blah. Yeah.
Then they have to know. Then they have to come up with a concept. This is just raw idea. No pen to paper. I want to do this. This is my podcast idea. Then they know the process, the creative process, to move that to a production. So they know how to shoot and edit and everything, and then people have to see it, people have to hear it, people have to feel it, people have to whatever. So you need distribution. That's the creative economy value chain. It starts with training. There's no way
You get the
Jamaica
conduit.
is going to evolve and our creative economy is going to grow if we can't find talent from
Definitely.
the very basic to the most advanced. And we are moving away from a world of just degrees.
Definitely.
Because in this fast changing technological environment, by the time you do a 3-year degree on virtual reality, you hear something
Things
come
change.
out about some other
Everything
reality.
gone up.
Right?
Yeah.
So, like, the bottom line, when I did banking and finance, trading wasn't online.
It was, but not to the degree where it is now. Yeah, it wasn't popular.
No,
It was a totally different kind of world.
process.
Yeah.
Apps didn't exist,
Yeah.
right? The iPhone came up 07.
07 was iPhone.
Right.
That's correct. Yep.
So and that started the app economy, right? So you can imagine now the guy that did 3-4 years of computer science, 2002 to 2005,
By the time
and
they
then
learn
get out
everything.
in the world and him employer says, so if you develop a mobile app,
Go right back. Yeah.
So what's happening now? That's a challenge that iCreate is taking on, right? How do we get Jamaica to tap into the realities of today from a creative standpoint, right? And it impact tech. Podcasts we're doing now.
Definitely.
It's a creative thing,
Yep.
right? We did a podcast workshop and we had to do a second one. 45 people came.
What you say? I hope some of them
For
do some
one
finance
day.
podcast too.
Yeah, for one day, $10,000, and did the podcast workshop, and a few started like next day, the next morning, and they're trying now to earn,
What you
right?
say? Send some. If send two, I make we interview them.
Yeah, man,
Can
we have the
room
list.
for them,
We
yeah,
have the
man.
list. So that's with iCreate now. When these things happen, we miss so many opportunities as a country. We miss that.
Definitely.
We miss the animation boat, right? We miss
Ah.
that. Like, God help us if we get in.
If you can catch it back, yeah.
But the Philippines turn around their country through animation, right? They have one of the biggest outsourcing animation industries.
Really?
Right? Yeah.
Because of the manga, that side of the world.
Yeah.
Yes. It's almost
So-
like a factory.
Yeah, it's like a factory, right? We miss those opportunities. Film right now, we're playing. I wouldn't even say we're playing catch up. Like
Definitely. Far behind.
we're
People trying to build out.
listen.
Yeah, I can't even repeat that thing about
Name
it.
the films: Sprinter, Better Must Come, Get a Life.
Flight, nice short film, big up
Yeah,
all the people involved with Flight.
I'm not even talking feature films.
Feature film. Before that, you forgot
Destiny.
maybe got Destiny and then, what you mean, homegrown, home built? Or
Yeah,
just Jamaican?
Jamaican.
Because before they have got jump back now to the 2000s or the 90s, you got Belly, you got
Exactly.
Shatters.
Shatters.
And
So
then
I'm
before
not
that,
even
you got
talking
all the way
those
back
guys
to,
who live over so and do a Jamaican
you
thing.
talk homegrown fully.
Yeah.
You got all the way back to Holiday
You're
coming.
talking-
You're talking one every 3 to 4 years,
If you're lucky.
if you're lucky,
Yeah.
right? And none of them hit like major success as yet.
Yeah,
right?
I don't
The
think so.
closest right now is Storm, Sprinter, and Better Must Come that he did 10 years ago.
Maybe, yes.
Almost 10
about
years
10 years ago,
ago.
yes.
Almost 10 years
You're
ago.
right.
Because
Yeah.
I remember when I was talking to Sagicor for my investment 2011, that's when they premiered. And that was even Get a Life. Yeah, so it's 10 years.
Yeah,
right?
roughly 10 years
Yeah,
ago.
so what you find now is that we've done it with music, right? We've done it with music. Like music.
Everything is there, yes, that's true.
Everything
Music
is
is a second nature. It's an option. If a man grow up, a youth grow up, or a girl growing up,
You can see
you
a
can
path
choose,
to
yeah.
success. And producers are making money, musicians, songwriters, managers. Right now, the music is fueling the creative industry because every big artist, Protege, these guys that you see, they have a photographer, they have a videographer, they have an illustrator, they have a this, they have a that, right? That's what we're trying to do. That's how iCreate come in, right? So that's the problem we're trying to solve. How do we develop the creative economy? And then when we do that, 10 years later, people are going to be doing like hologram and those things. Like, well, teach that too, right?
Right.
What we're doing now is to ensure that everybody have a skill set because skills training is leading now, right? LinkedIn bought Linda for about $10 billion or something like that, right? And Linda is a creative training website,
Yeah.
right? And you have Creative Live, plural site, who is on the tech side, listed last year on the NASDAQ, right? These things are happening. So iCreate, Jamaica economy is pretty small. We're very traditional also. If you don't sell bun and cheese and like it's straightforward. You go to the wholesale and you pay cash
And then
for a big Jilla aisle and come out with it, and the shopman get the cash for the big Jilla aisle. That's what people understand,
That's true.
right? People don't understand iView TV,
definitely.
right?
That's true. That's
people
true.
Don't
And
understand.
it's funny, them understand, but them don't understand, them understand it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So when you sit with an investor and you say, "Oh, we only need to spend $50 million on content creation before we even start earn," man, I understand that, right?
Yeah.
This is about buying some sausage and some oil and some butter, put them on the shelf, put your shop in a location where people are gonna come and buy, and that's the type of economy. We're evolving and we're moving away
Definitely.
from
Move
that at
away
a
from
rapid
that.
pace
Awful.
now, thanks to technological advancement and globalization and so forth. And people are now seeing where this is disrupting the space that they've been comfortable in. So banking is being disrupted through tech, right? NCB is being, look at Go IPO.
That's true.
Everybody doing an IPO now wants to go on NCB. Like
That's true.
The
Shout
open
out
it
to
up.
NCB for
Right?
that.
Yeah, man.
So the thing is that with iCreate, that is what we're trying to do, right? And it's gonna come from workshop courses, it's gonna come from certificate courses, we're gonna do some more advanced courses, do some certified filmmaker programs, do music, you know, everything. And then when you find out 5 years from now when James Banner come shoot at Jamaica.
Again.
Jamaican people.
Them know say, oh, I get some higher talent
Talent
within
there.
the thing.
Or better
and,
yet.
And then we can shoot our own films.
There we go.
And distribute them.
There we go.
overseas
So
at
for-
a fast pace.
part of my life I don't talk about. I did for a client. I had to do an entire set of presentations, trying to stay within the bounds of the contract. And I did a lot of research on that. And the New Zealand model, what happened with them in short version of it is that they've always had a little bit of film stuff going, same sort of thing. But then they gave a little tax break and to a guy named Peter, I've forgotten Peter what his name, but I'll put in the show notes, you can see it. Anyway, that guy came and shot a movie that everybody know named Lord of the Rings. And Lord of the Rings, Peter Jackson, thank you, big up BAM Productions, BAM Studio. So Peter Jackson, so Peter Jackson did Lord of the Rings there. And you can literally see the change in New Zealand from that. Now, New Zealand's creative industry is one of the best in the world. And you know how you know it's the best in the world? They make their own media, they make their own films, they make their own content, and then they consume it and make money off it.
It eventually push tourism.
And it pushed tourism heavily. I did one of the things I did in that presentation was to state that their tourist numbers, at this point, I think about 80-something% of the tourists that come there mention Lord of the Rings as part of the reason why they came. They go to New Zealand.
The same thing with Jamaica. Bob Marley. I know you're saying Bolt now and stuff, right?
But it's funny
those are
how
the things
Jamaica
that
is known
fuel.
for Jamaica known for being creative. Like you talk to a random person outside of Jamaica. Never come Jamaica, him know about Bob Marley. As far as he's concerned, Jamaica is talented in the creative aspects, but we're not capitalizing on it.
That's true.
So those are some of the things. So yeah, that's why we're doing it, you know.
But on the flip side, the people themselves are being too nice to you. Because let me tell you that. First of all, big up Twitter, but burn Twitter.
No,
people give me heat for all kind of things. People say, yo, how come you give company all kind of hard time, you give iCreate a hard time? I say, what you mean? I give people a hard time straightforward. But I don't know if it's like almost people want me vex
Vex on their behalf.
On their behalf.
Yeah,
So you have an account too.
buy some stuff.
Yeah, buy some stuff.
Them boy, them not
Yeah.
doing
Someone said, all right, and it's straight to the point. Cause you how long now iCreate listed?
Since
So this-
February
February.
25th.
Yeah, we're recording this end of December, but in the future, end of October. So,
Right before earnings.
elephant in the room, share price drop. You've lost like 30% of the value?
Yeah, I think we're about 35%.
30. As of today, you're at 70 cents per share.
Yeah.
It started out at $1. I'm on record. I don't know if people ever know this because I don't remember if I say it to you privately or publicly. But I have said that. I've said it publicly. I've said this. I said, Tyrone, you want to lick 70 cents, me buy some. still not buying some. But that's not to say that it's a bad company. Then I have spoken all the time on this thing. All the time that you need to understand the difference between the share price, the stock price, and
the company.
The company. What a company is for companies, good or bad. I like that you literally have just heard for the last maybe 20 minutes, Tyrone explain iCreate in the context of Jamaica, where it is something that is necessary.
Definitely.
Yeah, and I don't know if not many people have done it. Some people in Jamaica have done it. When you travel around the Caribbean, our TV in Jamaica is actually way ahead of most other people. You know?
See, I don't know
man.
that.
Even just our ads, as crappy as sometimes you might complain more ads,
man.
even just our ads on our TV, our content in Jamaica is a lot better than in the Caribbean, and we don't think it's that great because, of course,
we see in US and everybody else.
Exactly, and the truth is, no. If you look at it, Tyrone, you talk about iCreate, you don't talk about your other company, which is not on market, which is marketing side. Our ads are pretty good, and our creative side of Jamaica, but
I was looking at the other day, the music videos, the production quality, gone way up.
has always been at a level because our people.
As they say, music drive creative industry in Jamaica.
There we go. But on the flip side, yes, the businessman have to come out, and the businessman has at 7%. I wouldn't be a good investor if I didn't say, what the hell is happening there? 70%. So I have a thing that I tell people, but I have you here, so you can tell your story and we're talking. You're talking to an investor or somebody listening right now and say, yes, ask him about it. Kind of 70 cents.
Price down.
Yeah, funny. Yes, outside of the fact that Tyrone can go buy up the shares himself and bring it up, what do you think? What would you say to an investor right now? What is your idea to an investor to not reassure, but the message?
The funny thing is I try not to worry about the stock price or check it or
Day to day.
or read the chatter about it. Some of the stuff that are said, like on Twitter, I don't see 90% of them. Is probably somebody would send me something through
Screenshot.
a DM. Yeah,
Boy,
or
I never said thing I hate say it.
Yeah, screenshot.
Me have them people are blocked and muted and you screenshot and send me, brother. You know say them blocked. Don't show me.
I look at it and like shrug it, because I remember when Tim Cook took over from Steve Jobs. Steve Jobs passing and everybody start read Apple's eulogy.
That's true. That's
stock
true.
price dropping, there's no innovation left, and blah blah blah. It's just like, yo, Apple is dead. Like that's
true.
Like big Apple, right? And
The innovator is gone.
It looked like the man, like Tim Cook, never even sit down in a CEO chair yet, right? And people like say, "Oh, it's dead." He's a supply chain guy. He's an operations guy. He's not an innovator. He's not a marketer. And I think Apple released their results today, and iPhone sales are down and profits are up. That never happened yet.
Yeah.
Right? Why? Because their services side
They
of
understand
the
the
business.
business. They understand that, yo.
They know that they're gonna sell X amount of iPhones, and then after that, they need to find something else.
Exactly. And the iPhone is the touch point for everything else. If you have an
That's
iPhone, you can sell everything
they
else to them.
focus on their strategy, right? And avoid the shorting of the stocks and those things. And for me, of course, there's a lot of pressure, as a young CEO, youngest on the market and youngest business, and it's a startup.
Pressure,
we listed it as a startup. It's like, yo, you're brave, and why you do that, and blah blah blah. But when we started iCreate as a product test in 2017, I started seeing the interest and the demand for the courses, and it was like, we either do this good or we spend the next 10 years as a private company, chipping away with a little private equity here and there, and take time grow, because I've experienced it before, right? With iView, had we raised all the cash we needed,
Upfront.
majority of the cash we needed up front, we would have been able to roll out, and probably iView would have been like the Netflix of the Caribbean right now. But we raised some cash, and then we're told to come back, and you come back and it missing. You can't get money. You don't know where. So for iCreate, I was like, I'm not making that mistake again. I'm gonna raise like $70 million, and we'll build this out.
Definitely.
Right, and we'll figure it out after that. Right?
It's so funny. I remember the buzz around it, but you think about it, it's 70 million.
Yeah.
For the market,
In the market,
it's not hard for the
70
market.
million
like,
Jamaican.
Have some $1 billion.
It's less than a
$1
billion.
billion.
IPOs and stuff going on, right? It was just a little $70 million raise. That's all the cash that went into iCreate. But our mission, as a company, is to focus on the things I expressed before. Right? We have a 85% student satisfactory rating. That is people coming to iCreate.
That's major.
To learn something, and
That's cool too.
On a scale of 1 to 10, how you feel about iCreate, and average is 8.5.
So I feel like it rough on you and them, because I feel like you don't hear out a good, you're not getting 85%.
Satisfactory rate at you're mad? Are you tech?
Yeah,
you're mad?
Everybody vexed. This go wrong.
Yeah,
you come in at school.
Like for me, I remember when, as I say, when the lecturer didn't do the
had an issue,
and they changed it, and I was satisfied after. At iCreate, we're on the ground, like we stay close to everything that's happening. It's 3 months, so we can't afford a month for pass and you're unhappy.
Definitely.
There we go.
Like 2 months is not enough to solve it. Like so we have to be there. We're getting real-time feedback. We're ensuring that it's practical. We're checking with the trainers. I'm the kind of product guy there. So I develop the courses, 90% of them, if not more, based on my experience in the agency production side, creative production side, and know what is needed. So when you look at some of our graduates who do a 3-month photography course, like these guys can shoot ads for you, billboard stuff, right? In 3 months. Same with video. Like you can call an iCreate video guy, past student now and say, listen, I have a 5-minute video I need you to shoot. It's an interview and them know exactly what to do. Right? And them can shoot it.
Matter of
and
fact,
edit it.
funny enough, I want to get that name. Finish this point. Come on, big up one of your people, them right? Who them try a shot in the dark. I rate when people do that, even though I always have a time. One of them say, I see them put out a tweet saying, I'm gonna get him name, so I say it and show it in the show notes. Say, more copywriter.
Yes.
So I send him one of my flyers, one of my grow course. If you want to learn about investing, grow. All right, everymickle.com/store/grow. Anyway. And him say, more and do it, right? So, no cause when I send the flyer and say, yo, give me something better. I'm sending back some stuff. Now, was it good? Yeah. Was it what I wanted? No. And I don't give him proper feedback yet. So I do this need to that I've just been busy. But one, I like that. Two, he did mention that, well, he did the course at iCreate. And him doing the right thing because I happen to know, because I also touch the industry, as you know, that you can't find copywriters, good copywriters, and it's hard anybody to train them. You can't, there's a lot of those skills in the creative industry that's needed. And it's not just in Jamaica.
That's the thing.
iCreate is really a
and that guy's an iCreate graduate, so I'm gonna find him and big him up.
Position well for the rest of the world.
Those are the things we have to focus on, right? You see, the more of that we do, the better off we'll be as a company. Like we have to keep our focus there. Everything else will come, right? So we just want to ensure that you come in, you have a good experience, you meet your objectives. We have people who do 3-4 courses, you know. Like repeat, right? You do a course this quarter, you come back next quarter.
They want to learn
the whole thing.
Yeah, they're just learning. And if you never like your iCreate experience,
you would not go back.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You know, so
I have not driven through the doors of UTech since my dropout. That's not true. but you get it. Nobody not really go back. Yeah, it have to be
Is
good.
that something you track? Like
you repeat customers?
Yeah.
Your retention.
We have a pretty robust tool that allows us to check in and everything. So we know when you're coming back, right? If you come and, you know, the system prompts us and everything. So when it comes to address the whole stock price thing, you know, we try not to get distracted, right?
I like that.
Definitely.
We're trying to, it's a startup, right? We're building out. So we spend the first 3 months at the IPO to increase our capacity, right? Mobay, Kingston, and we said it in our release. I think our Q2 release, we spoke about the readiness of the space, the acquiring the equipment, and so forth to meet the demand that we have. So that's what we kind of focus on now. Like, all right, let's please our customers. That's what it come down to.
Definitely.
And I like that.
And we have to keep the satisfactory rating up.
Yes.
85, if we can rise, we'll go 90.
Yeah, man.
And we're averaging 85. So we just have to listen. We just have to focus on that and grow the business.
Definitely.
So we're building out more courses. We're improving on the current ones. We're investing in the team, of a young team. You know, I'm the oldest.
Wow.
Right.
What a change, because you mean at the same age range, you know. It's rough now.
Rough.
The young people, they might look on you and say, we're young.
Yeah, it's oldest.
When they would have podcast, I mean, say, we don't feel like we're young. We're going to say something, say we're 33, but think about it, and I'm 26, right?
Yeah, young team, right?
Yeah.
Mobile first kind of guys.
Yeah, and then think, but what you're doing, you're providing opportunities to them that we never really had when we were 26.
Yeah, these guys are managers in a publicly listed company. Like they're in board meetings, part of the process. Because that's what I try to do, you know. Because it's all a learning experience. So for Jamaica, it's good to like look at these things. Because the US doing it for years. Look at Mark Zuckerberg. This guy leave out of college. Steve Jobs did it. Bill Gates did. It's been happening. We need more of that in Jamaica. We need some dropouts for the list on the stock exchange, right? And we have to encourage them. So we see these things happen and we feel like we bash them.
Yeah, man, Jamaica.
Yeah, we're frown upon.
And we follow the beaten path.
Yeah.
Everybody believes, you go to school and I eat that. You
Yeah,
go to school,
like,
you don't like it.
We need people to try new things.
Definitely.
Podcasts, you know, artificial intelligence.
All sorts of things, you're right.
Automation, all of these things.
Yeah, everything, both from the technical side and just like it's just like the creative side. Like this, I mean, if you think about it, there are always options that I'd have. We've always been investing. I've been investing. I don't have to do this podcast, and I am very serious about how yes, if I'm happy that I do the podcast. Yeah, but you know,
Start the podcast.
yes, no, but I mean, I do have to do this. It's an option, right? But also, how I do the podcast is different. I mean, people that listen to it tell me all the time. The first feedback anybody is going to get a podcast, they want something, they want to hear. Tell us about the stocks in the market this week and what must buy and what must look for, right? And that's the sort of thing that people think they want to hear, because if you don't know better, you don't know better, right? Is me have to think and say, no, you know, I want to do something that I like to hear, but it's still going to be around a topic. And in doing that, you bring a lot more out. If you tell me 5 years ago that have a listed company CEO up on a podcast, I talk about finance, you wouldn't think about it, right? I wouldn't believe it. I wouldn't think of, why would you put it on a podcast? Why wouldn't you write an article in the newspaper about him instead? But this is it. These are the realest thing.
Or go on the radio.
Or go on the radio, right? Yeah. It's so funny. Right off the bat, I put that out of mind. Not that I have a problem with radio, but I like the format it's done in now. If we curse, we curse. If we don't curse, we don't curse. If the radio can't deal with it, then the radio can have it. I'd love to have it on the radio.
Yeah.
But they'll have to meet me where I am. I don't need them. If they need me, well, I won't this any listed company. Well, I mean, I don't want it. I'll say it. RJR, big up RJR, but yeah.
Yeah, not something to work on.
Yeah. Time now. But I don't want you to skip past it, because you did make some good points. And I like that you pointed out your the build out, which is a major part, because it's a startup, right? 70 mil in the grand scheme of things, even the market nowadays.
I think investors need to understand. They need to understand the company. So invest in a startup. They don't walk into a startup and talk about, oh, you want profit skyrocket so you can get an X return. If you invest in, then you know what you're there for.
And everybody have different appetite. You know,
definitely.
So
There is
you must know where you put your money.
There is that. Now, I know people would have put some heat on you because them saying, you know, if you look on the prospectus, you know, expected.
No, but
Ray.
I don't feel that prospectus was
but
misleading
we're
anyway.
not far off. Meaning, when I say that, meaning year one, we said we gave a certain projection, right?
Everybody press you on that. That's another thing. Let me just pause and big you up for that. The only one that's done it, right? The man named Prospectus. No, I know the IPO process from the other side, the inside, and I can tell you, it is a legal process. So they always, it's easier for them to lie them and just say, yo, just be quiet, don't say nothing, don't speak on it. Tyrone chose to come and speak about it on Twitter.
Oh yeah, I rated that.
Take questions from the public, right? Yeah. So it may ask some questions, people say, yo, you're in plan up. I say,
It was funny. I think
they just decide to do it.
They just decide to do it.
You were in the group at the time, right? And somebody posts and say, what is he doing?
Yes.
Say, like, I got a couple private messages like, yo, you don't need to do this.
You don't, exactly. I link him. When him do it, me link him and say, yo, what you do?
Right? We talk about it on the podcast where we say,
not that I don't like it, but you're sure you're ready for that, because it's the public, you get me?
Yeah. But what I realized, you know, in doing the IPO, like, I mean, it was a good process. Like, I feel like I grew up business wise, like 2 years in 2 months, you know?
Yeah, IPO teach you a lot very, very quickly about overall business. Yeah, man.
And I had like a wicked lawyer, Sanya Goff.
Big up Sanya Goff. I hear her name all the time.
Her associate at the time, I think she still is, Camille Garrison. But Sanya, like, she just know this. You understand? Like, she know the entire thing. Like, I never have to worry about them legal parts, but I went in because I wanted to learn it. But she was really good, so I learned a lot from her. And then on the legal side too, you know, on the investment broker side, Sagicor, it was also a good learning process with them because Sagicor does things properly. You know, like,
they don't have a choice.
You realize there were no hiccups with our IPO.
Yeah.
Right? Like, our IPO was smooth. All the questions that were asked were answered in the prospectus. Nobody come out and say, "Oh, we're too high in terms. We're expensive in terms of the pricing." It's just always a little bit too much or a little bit too little. But we're never like too expensive or too cheap or, so that entire process and just dealing with with everybody was great, but to really come back to it, from the whole IPO process
to where you are.
to where we are now, it's like we see the progress, but our projections are based on after building out.
I get you. Okay.
Yeah. So now that we're built out, the plan with everybody is to focus on growth. And we have a chairman, Lisan Mitchell, who is just really good. He's a really good chairperson.
And investment.
Yeah, investment
Titans,
background, Titan, corporate exec, everything. And we have a very close relationship. Chairman, CEO, and I learn a lot from him as a CEO and a publicly listed company. How to deal with just processes and everything, because I'm raw entrepreneur. You understand? A lot of people tend to mix up the two.
Yes, the passion that you bring, and if you bring it properly, people do, especially in Jamaica, we don't really know business, I mean, I say it openly. We don't know business the way we do it. I am on record as saying, well, I'm going to be on record now, as saying, and it's no insult to anyone per se, but it's that my personal belief that a lot of business people in Jamaica aren't really business people. The thing that you see them doing, I think I said it to you also, Tyrone. The thing that you see them doing is a thing that they're very good at. A man of a trucking company is a money man.
You grew up in a family with it.
Yeah, man. Him good at that. You can't take him out and put him somewhere else to do something else. Yeah. We don't have a lot of good business people. We have a lot of
that transition is important.
It's funny. I'm kind of impressed with Tyrone because the things he's mentioning, I interact with a lot of people that do business, and I don't find the drive to, I want to learn this, I want to go forward. I know where I am now. I know where I need to go. I know what to do to get there. But enough businessman does. I celebrate, I celebrate.
Entrepreneur and CEO,
Two different.
Yes, that's true.
With dealing with Lisan, and other members of the board too. Making that transition is important. You're not leaving it behind, of course.
You're growing.
You're growing, man.
The minute you stop being entrepreneurial is the minute the business
definitely
stop matter, right? I love to use Apple as an example because I just pretty much studied that company, right? Up to today, they just launched a new service, Apple TV Plus, taking them into film. What happened know about film, right? But that's the thing. That's the entrepreneurial side of being in business.
New ventures.
You have to, no matter how big you are. And remember, Apple profits hard for moving.
Yes.
Right? Hard for moving. It's not easy moving them revenues and those profits at Apple. So you have to be really good.
Yeah.
From an entrepreneurial standpoint, and you're not acquiring businesses.
You start
it's not like Apple buying anything, you don't hear say Apple buy Time Warner or Netflix.
They don't necessarily always acquire. They tend to. I mean, they do partnerships. So I'm sure the Apple Plus will find a nice little partnership.
Well, they never get a lot of partnerships because true. Like people are like, yo, we're doing our own thing. Because when you look at the OTT platforms now, over the top, right? Netflix. Hulu, Amazon Prime, those were the top guys, big three, I like to call them, right? And then HBO with HBO now, but then AT&T bought Time Warner, and then Disney bought Fox, right? And then Apple say, oh, TV Plus. So what you find now is that there's nobody to buy that can carry it to a good level because everything consolidates already.
That's true.
Exactly.
And there's no deals you can get because all the guys that are buying the other guys have their networks.
Yes, and they're pushing for their
and
networks.
They're pushing on their own networks, and then Apple done go build this app economy. So then Apple give them a platform now that relieve them of their need
to partner.
Correct.
Yeah.
Right? So what you find now is that we have 1 billion iPhones. We don't need partnerships. We just put out Apple Plus and we give it free for the first 2 months and we start billion. And we have more subscribers than you in 2 years.
Yeah.
Yep.
So that's the thing about being entrepreneur, but at the same time, being that CEO who understands how to navigate the politics around board on a publicly listed level, how to deal with AGMs, how to deal with filing a quarterly reports
and new shareholders.
New shareholders,
with
pressure
with
from
IPO
shareholders.
expectations.
Right.
I want to close that part off because I don't want people to say I make him get away again, right? And I've said this, you can true. So I do think that when you listed, you're very, people could say maybe almost too optimistic about what you're putting forward in the prospectus. But I then again balance that with, what do you expect man to come out and say?
No, yeah.
Don't do it? Yeah, I think my impression of it, so you use Apple to compare against. I look on you along the lines of, I can use part of Apple, but I'll use Amazon.
Yeah.
Unprofitable for a long time.
Yeah.
But Bezos was very open.
Yeah.
He said, trying to build something big, work with me.
And
Yeah.
over and over again.
Yeah, literally, I'm trying to build something big, work with me, wait, and when we get there, we'll be able to do it. And I see Amazon building to something where, in my opinion, they're able to choose when to be profitable. I see he got under pressure. Bezos was under pressure once.
And then he said, all right, I'm going to be profitable.
Him just boom, the first profitable quarter in 10 years out of the blue.
And then
Out of
another
Amazon
one,
with-
and another one, and
and
another one.
and just after that. And then
then
boom,
stop.
okay, I'm the richest man in the world.
Yep.
And then him splitting money and him still the richest man in the world. That's the kind of push that you get when you stick with a long-term idea. So of course I think you're I won't say overly optimistic. But you're optimistic and I expect you make some see
You want my
founder
CEO
to
to
be-
tell me, say, yo, this
Yeah.
is the best company in the world.
Exactly.
I mean, our year one profit projection was 7.5 million. I think.
Yes,
I
you did
think
have
it's-
7.5 million
I
up there
think
up in
it's
front
about
of me here.
7.5.
And as we are, your last thing you publicly released, I say publicly because I want people to know I haven't seen anything, right? So we're working with public numbers.
Which was Q2.
Q3.
Above,
Q3, man. I think your Q3 numbers are out. No? I have it wrong?
Q2 numbers are out.
I'm looking on the, you are correct, Mr. CEO.
Yeah.
Sorry,
Yeah,
sir. Yes. As at June.
We always talk about that too. I
Yeah.
see what that knows his numbers. Can
That's-
come in front there and tell you, say, yo,
Yeah.
so the numbers go.
And another thing I noticed, which I said to people, I noticed you displayed quite easily. You say you thought the share price was 75 or 65. If you have 35, that was 65, it was actually 70. I said to people, say, listen, most companies don't once they've listed, it's only you and me as shareholders
Exactly.
and traders care about the share price. The CEO or the founder or the board, they don't care about the share price.
He's in
per
for the long
se.
haul.
Well, not the board, but I mean, I expect the board would, but the CEO doesn't care about the share price because he or she isn't making anything off the movement of the share price. That answers a question people ask us all the time. The movement of a company's share price almost
affect
does
the company.
nothing for the company. They don't make any money off
Most
it.
get a call from shareholders vex. But
Yeah.
if you focus on what you need to focus on, as Tyrone said,
Yeah.
then the share price
It
will
will
come.
happen. And,
Yeah.
and you know, some very seasoned CEOs on the stock exchange have given me advice too and say, oh, don't worry about that. Just focus on
So you need to
growing
work
the
on.
business.
Yep.
The rest will come.
It will.
So-
It will. And the noise will there. So I like that you're not making the noise affect you. So for like me, as eyes got hard, I remember I'd press you one time too, and you expected you had a little number in there for your expected marketing. It's something small. 6.9. I'm looking at it now. 6.9 million for advertising and marketing. And I'm gonna check to see if you. But I
year
thought
one?
stuff like I mean, at that point I think I'm
Beauty and
nitpicking.
digital.
Yeah. But then there's that, right? I also knew that digital marketing is cheaper than
Because I
traditional
think our
marketing.
marketing, I'm not sure if we break it out in the numbers. I think we do in the details part with the Apex breakdown. Q2 marketing was probably 1.8. They're about 2 million maybe if it's broken out.
I don't know if it's broken up, but if it's not, you heard it here first.
You know, so I would say, right now obviously we can't speak about much. We're publicly listed.
Yes.
I guess when Q3 numbers come out, we'll talk again.
Yeah, well, I
Maybe
definitely bring it
Twitter
up,
or whatever,
yeah.
and so forth. But it's just important to just keep close to the growth trajectory of the business and see if there's a light at the end of the tunnel. That's simply what it is. As an investor, you have your appetite. You choose to do what you do with it. But we just have to focus on growing the business. And listen, business, like, it's business, you know. You evolve. So you grow, you do what you're doing, and you have a team that is always thinking, coming up with new ideas. Like for me, I have to just contain myself because that's the entrepreneurial side now. And I say, yo, listen, let's buckle down, CEO mood, do this, do that, build out that balance scorecard, strategic retreat.
Oh, you're the man. I haven't heard balance scorecard in a long time.
Yeah, like all of these good things. Like, no, that's why it come down to.
Man, understand.
You know, especially as a startup, because you see, with young businesses, you tend to, and I've been there before, and that's a good thing about experience and so forth, with certain things, like when you live in the moment. You know, sometimes we tend to focus on the end, like thinking about the 100 million and not the 100,000.
Yeah.
And then you don't get to say you've made some steps right where you are right now.
You
You're
don't
right.
learn nothing.
Yeah.
Like if suppose I was saying to Chris and Sherry in 2008, 100,000 too little to have meeting and talk about.
Because
you know?
a 10 million company
Yeah,
I work
more,
with.
when we reach 10, we can start meet.
Yeah.
No.
No, you have to start
You
from
know?
where you
Yeah.
are. Yeah.
I
And same
remember-
thing. I tell people invest in the same thing, you know, all the time. Stop telling
tell
me
much
say you're
money
saving
Yeah.
for start invest.
Start invest.
If you have more than 2,000 Jamaican, matter if you have 2,000 Jamaican dollars, start invest. Something out there you can
we
buy.
can take $1,000.
There
I
we
remember
go.
when we get the Sagicor investment, 2011, what we were making in revenues, what we made in 2011 as revenues was about 25% of what we made the following year after the Sagicor investment, right? Around 25%. And then the following year, we increased that by 50%, 55%, right? Because I always track these. I remember all I number. Then.
Yeah, I see you're doing it because let me give a whole heap of heap. I'm gonna add some good to it because your last quarterly numbers you've raised revenue again. You look like you're on a trend by 59%.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and that's the kind of, those are the things people should look at. Because with a startup, the first thing you look at is top line. You know? I know,
Yes.
I know
money
the
have
stock
reached
exchange
down
is a bottom line thing.
Yeah.
What kind of profit you
For
make?
some people,
But
and
with-
yes, we are profit led, but you are right.
But
Startup,
with a
top line.
startup, it's the biggest indicator for a startup is if people are buying your products.
Exactly.
1,000%.
Think about it,
Same
right?
so.
Yep.
Do you have customers? That's the most important thing right now.
Same thing, I ask some brethren
Right?
them all the time. No matter what business, first thing with them is how's revenue.
Do you have
Where do we make money?
customers?
Yeah.
And then when you answer and you say, yes, I have customers. Okay. Them happy? You know? You say, yeah, them happy.
Yeah, them with the
They
85%.
repeat.
Uh-huh.
You know?
Your retention.
What's that rate?
Uh-huh.
They're recommending people. Right? That's the
The business
startup.
that grow.
right?
Yeah, that is it.
That's startup for
That
you.
is it. Yep.
Right?
Yep.
So-
And then you sort out anything else in terms of the
rationalize and make
expenses
sure
and
it's
ration.
out.
Yeah.
Then the
so
rest
on.
come because in a startup the expenses are going to spike, you know. And when you look at iCreate, that's what's happening, right? Q1 results weren't impacted by the IPO because we listed officially on the 25th of February. So obviously that wouldn't impact because you recruit a cohort from a quarter before,
Correct.
and then you do more recruitment within that quarter, but the big recruitment happens before. So January to March 2019, IPO didn't impact those revenues. So it's the same revenues, right? And then you jump now on a 59% increase
Straight up,
in
yeah, man.
revenues. And
Your
it's
gross
like,
profit is 9.6 mil,
Right.
and last year same time 2.5
2.5
mil.
right. So you start see those jump, and then of course you're gonna see big expenses because you are now on the stock exchange. Obviously,
You have to pay.
you bill out. So maybe you have those things. The costs come way before the revenues. Fortunately enough, we grew 60% top line. But
59% CO, that's it, right?
59.7,
59.7, that's 60%.
You're not going to
yeah,
say
man.
60%, right? But we'll grow 59%.
Pretty
right?
much, yeah.
And then you know, keep your eyes on the next quarter.
I like
That's
that.
just really
I like that. And it's not, in terms of a story of growth, this is a story of growth. I am not
Well,
as worried about it. All right, let me put this in some context for you. Put in context for you. You listed the company for $70 million. And between April, May, June, you make $13 million. That's like what? That's 30 something percent, right? I have them numbers
like
wrong.
20
something percent, right? You sound like you do this maths already.
Don't
18 and a half. Yeah, no matter if you can call it 20.
Yeah.
The 20%
Yeah,
when you listen for you
20.
making revenue in one quarter. It's a story of growth. I think the matter is just the question really for an investor, and I say this as a investor, as an investment show, is are you willing to wait the amount of time for this thing to be built to see what it will become?
But
Yeah?
how long are you gonna wait? Because look at it. Q2, we've said it in the results. Expenses increased by X as a result of
You
higher
build out, yes.
operating costs.
You spoke about
and so forth.
the 1,500 square foot training space,
Right.
Kingston.
But those are capex.
Mm-hmm.
But opex, is almost like your opex. When you list and you go to a certain stage, you have to hire the staff. Like
That's
you have
right.
to do a lot of these things
The
immediately.
day to day, which you just can't go
So
wrong.
you do expect that your expenses are going to continue to grow at the rate that your revenues are growing. And I'm not talking now iCreate specific. I'm just talking
General
startup,
business, general startup. That is true.
Because I think that's the experience I would say I have most. Right, like I understand the startup cycle and I serve on a board of another startup that's really good, and I'm chaired by a very experienced corporate exec and entrepreneur for Jamaica and so forth. So you don't find why you find your expenses after it spike after an investment, it's not going to continue to spike at the rate that your revenue spike.
I get
Right?
you.
Expenses are the lead.
Right.
You have to spend the money.
Yeah,
Make the
so
money.
the
when
money,
you look
correct.
at it now, you're going to ask yourself, all right, iCreate make $40 million losses this quarter. Let's see what next quarter losses are going to be. And you start watch that, right? You watch how the losses moving. And you observe that and you say, oh, what is that taking me close to my prospectus numbers? I'm just saying, people who invest in any startup, publicly listed one, you just have to be careful what you look for.
Yeah, definitely.
And
like
understand that
indicators-
time is your real benefit there.
indicators are important, right? With don't like to talk much about the locally listed companies and so forth, but with an Apple, for example, and we'll go back to one of my favorite companies, or even Disney. Let's talk about Disney. Bob Iger just bought Fox for this big,
huge money.
Outbid AT&T. I think AT&T was it was Comcast who went in with him for it, right? And what you look at with Disney now is like, all right, they bought Fox. We do expect it to be extreme. It's going to hit Disney's profit right now, but it's definitely need to hit the revenues. What is Disney doing with this? Because Disney is this mammoth of a company. So now they bought Fox. They're supposed to spike up the revenues. Obviously, they're going to be investing in infrastructure. They just launched Disney Plus, consolidate all of the film assets and TV assets and launching out this big thing. You're not going to see that hitting profitability yet because they're going to be spending a shitload of money on content development.
Exactly.
Right? So, but you need to focus on subscriber growth. That's what people looking on.
The
With
numbers.
even Netflix,
Yep.
right? Nobody not looking on profitability
Profit,
like that with Netflix. Yeah,
But
you
Netflix
beat
isn't really
forecast.
profitable, right?
Yeah, you beat forecast everything, but you'll see that Netflix beat forecast today, but subscribers numbers didn't meet forecast. And look what happened to the stock price. That's the whole thing, you know.
Yes, I like you have it aligned around there, and I like that you see it's something like you're on top of the company. What else can I want to get the bad out of the way because I don't want people to say I don't say it, but let's start board. You have had a whole heap of board moves. You've had a lot of your board moves. I know the board is always a sensitive issue, so I can't understand if you don't go too deep, but you've had a lot of board moves. I think Kenny Benjamin was the latest one to leave your board.
I wouldn't say we had a lot of board moves. We have 9 board members, including myself. Sandra came.
The legendary Sandra Glasgow.
Legendary Sandra
Big up
Glasgow
Sandra
started
Glasgow.
as chair. Sandra has been with me since 2012. Not just my chair and board member, but almost like my mother, above and beyond. And, she felt it's just time.
Mm-hmm.
So, it's just like when I had Biles for 5 years.
Mm-hmm.
He promised first at 3, and then he stayed on for 2 more, thereabout. And then it's time,
Mm-hmm.
So everybody, you don't come to live on a board.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, I mean, you see, that's a funny thing about Jamaica too. We're so used to
People
people living on a board. We're used to a man has been on the board,
And the world is
and
changing.
he's been a board member for his entire life.
The world is changing, and then Sandra is helping so many other young entrepreneurs too.
She does. True.
Like she's doing so much in developing her venture capital.
True. I don't know if people know that,
industry. Yeah, and I mean, she's not into the boast.
The publicity, that's true.
Yeah,
I'd love to have her on here. Miss Glasgow, if you're hearing this and you want to come do a link up, please.
Glasgow.
Mrs. Glasgow, my apologies. Yeah? My apologies. But yeah, you know that lady, I rate her to the point where she got me nervous.
She
I
makes
went to an
everybody
event.
nervous.
You know?
She makes everybody nervous.
Yeah, man. But I'm not a person, I don't usually get nervous. Let me tell you a bit of active. I shame myself publicly. I had an event for another company, right? And she was there. So she was leaving when I got there, and I see her. I'm so excited. I was like, hi. So she said, hi. So she come in and I'm like, hold on, I said, hug her. I said, right, Randy, you don't know the woman from nowhere. So she got,
like
oh, sorry. Yeah, because I've been following it, the journey for so, and I've spoken to her, I've met her before, but if you think about it, Sandra Glasgow meet people every day.
Yeah,
right?
So I wonder who
she give me a sign, Phil. She give me a sign. She give me like, what are you doing? And I'm having to stop. And she said, introduce yourself. I introduce myself again. So yeah, big up Miss Glasgow for putting me in my place nicely. But yeah, if you can come on. Big up Sandra Glasgow though. Yeah. So you're right. So you said people have given you like a time and they choose to come onto the board for a certain time. And like you mentioned, Sir Richard Biles actually gave actually more time than you would have expected. Yeah. Sir Kenny Benjamin, I know you've had on now and he's just stepping up, but I'll use the Kenny Benjamin opportunity to go a little further into some of your outside of iCreate industries, because people don't know that Tyrone do. I mean, if you know Tyrone, you should know Tyrone is doing a bunch of things. So I love that's why I'm happy now to hear him saying and say, yo, focus and put it into iCreate. Yeah. But I've also seen where you're doing something that I think is very necessary. One, with the music sector in Jamaica, I know you're bringing back Sunsplash.
Yes.
And on the other side, I know recently Tyrone launched a thing that people ask us for all the time. Him own private equity. I won't call it a private equity firm, him own private equity fund, Kintyre Holdings. Yeah. And my name it after him place him come from.
Yes.
She's right.
Rate that one of the most fearsome. I mean, I'm not mix my words. One of the most fearsome getters in Kingston, Kintyre. So the man turn around, it almost changing the image right now between you and Assassin.
Yeah, Sasko.
Yeah, between you and Sasko, Kintyre is one like a place everybody want to go now. But yeah, you have Kintyre, what do you call it? Kintyre Holdings.
Yes.
And you had I don't want to tell your story for you. Tell me the story. Tell me about Kintyre and tell me about Sunsplash.
Yeah, so, I mean, Kintyre Holdings has been a thing, like, in fact, I registered a limited liability company a long time, probably 4 years ago, and just have it sitting down. But, it has always been like I love startup and venture capitalism and private equity and equity and notes and pref shares and like I guess it's a banking and finance degree in
business.
Right?
Yeah, it's business. It was business.
Yeah, but I think there's so much to learn getting funding.
Yes.
Not from a school perspective, but a case by case. Because if I'm supposed to tell my stories about how I get funding and the things, the hoops I had to jump through and the learning curve, so I see Kintyre Holdings now to say, someone who have done it, get funding and feel like I can contribute to other entrepreneurs to get funding. So sometimes the funding is not going to be my fund, but I'll work with them to get the funding and I also raise funds for my ventures. And that's what Kintyre Holdings is about, So see, believe, achieve. That's the kind of tagline I use. So you see the opportunity, you believe in it, and you work towards and achieve the success from it. That's Kintyre Holdings. So, of course, it's Holdings now. It's my Holdings. That I've generated that kind of wealth in equity through my 10 years of work and just put that in Kintyre. That's my startup capital.
That's
Right.
you can
Yeah.
use and fund somebody
Can
else.
use and fund other things. So and get other investment and leverage and so forth. So I'll be kind of looking out for opportunities. So myself looking for opportunities, working with other younger entrepreneurs who want to go to the market too. I think we need to develop a culture of getting
listing.
to the
Yes,
market,
definitely.
and wanting to
Correct,
get to the market.
correct.
So even if you decide down the line that you're not gonna do it, you can't, like, for Jamaica financial economy to the economy to get better and businesses to thrive and more people putting in money.
Yeah.
You need to be an active trading of stocks.
That's true.
I'm like the thing
Like,
the
that's-
formality first on the
that's the
companies.
bottom line,
Jamaica,
yeah.
that's the
Of course, the formality brings discipline
Yes.
and focus
Yes.
and pressure
definitely.
and change sometimes. But the most important thing is that I've met a lot of people who want to invest, but they don't know how the money will come
Yeah.
back to them. They literally don't
Yes.
Yeah.
That is 100% true. Yeah.
know. You know, like, our private equity market is not liquid. Like, so you invest in our business
And
now,
no exit.
and dog never supper, like, you don't know when you're gonna get back your money, right? From
Yep.
it. So, like, we need to kind of develop a culture where we are looking, one would develop a more vibrant private equity market, and two, or public, the stock exchange becomes, more active.
Yes, actual place. Yo,
Yeah.
we're going to tell you, we understand where Tyrone get business. And people ask me all the time. We're so used to the hype culture in Jamaica. The people are saying, yo, everybody IPO. One, no. Not even 10% of the people. Them. Two,
Not even
everybody
4%.
should be IPO. It should be something that you want to go towards. You get me?
Yeah, man.
I look at all my companies and I see them as something that even if I'm not listing, I have to run it like it can list tomorrow.
Yep.
Yeah, man, you always have to think of it as an option, man.
Yeah, man.
Definitely.
From day one.
Yeah, literally. When I hear that, I say I get why you do business where you do business now, because you understand the need of getting it to that point.
Yeah. So that's the thing. Like, people run your business properly. It's not just
It helps much more than 30.
it's not just profits alone. It's integrity, character. It's managing the business properly. Your reports on time. You see, investment come when people feel
Them
like
confident that them not gonna lose their money.
which house you rather go in. A little 1 bedroom, a clean and everything in order. Like, just well organized. You can sleep peacefully, quiet, rather than a big house where
Half mash up.
dirty and
Dirty,
they
yeah.
plate them in the dish. They plate them in the
sink,
sink. And
yeah.
you can't get a glass of water, and you're going at a small, well-kept house. And best believe you're comfortable.
See it
Yeah,
nice.
that's why enough time you hear ghetto people, you have some ghetto people say, yo, man, all right. And people wonder
Why?
Why?
Yep.
right?
Yep.
But in
Yep.
them little house and it clean,
Yep.
nobody hope, fingers crossed, them not have to worry about crime and stuff. And them go school and then come home. Like, I remember when I was growing up in a ghetto in a 1 bedroom, I grew up in, right? Me and my mother and my father and my younger brother. My father used to always travel, right? So it's most times me, my mother and my brother, 1 bed, right? Sometimes me and my brother camp out and, like, put the bed, like, the comforter and stuff on the ground and watch TV and, them little stuff and fun times.
Yeah.
But my mother keep her work her 1 bedroom clean, virgin. And because my father travel, him send down a AC. And when I get there, pay light bill.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
AC I run. And when our mother cook and the place clean, right?
You're more comfortable than a
Comfortable in
whole
the
heap of
space,
people.
yeah.
Virgin, you study and you feel like you're at the library. You understand?
Yeah.
Like, you're comfortable. And me in the ghetto, and as a youngster, growing up, I never know how to get up like that. Like, you're all right.
It's funny enough, on one of the last episodes, we talked about the same thing. Say a lot of people don't even know that other people don't know their life. They don't know what people don't know.
You don't know.
And on the other side is the same way. You don't know what other people know. You come from a child growing up don't know that things don't.
Yeah, we
Just
talk
don't
about,
know.
Somebody else is different.
Sasko, and he make a point. We were on a panel together, big up Sasko,
Consistently.
JMB thing. I remember him talk about Mona, going through Mona. Mona, it's as I get to you, you see the little picket fence and you say, yo, I just that 071 with that little picket fence and thing. As I get to you to say that's where you want. And that you see every day. But as you get bigger now, you start get exposed and you start be successful and stuff. You see something else and
bigger than that, and the goal push
and stuff. But you started here. And that's the thing about business. Like an investor will put them money in that one bedroom that is well kept, always tidy, clean, door lock, and everything, as opposed to the untidy mansion.
Right.
And when certain governance and structures kick in, and I'm not like saying I'm innocent all of that, because like me I war with the entrepreneur and the CEO all the time. Right?
Oh, within yourself,
The entrepreneur like fuck it, like
just
take
do this.
Risk.
Yeah, just do this.
Like do this. No, we'll fix that later.
Yeah.
You get me? And the CEO now is like, yo, my board meeting next month in the dog. You need to fix it now.
No,
Don't
bring
break
the
it.
problem.
Numbers them have to put in a brother. Come put it on my podcast. The boy, the number them bad in a brother.
Yeah, man,
I'm me first.
Don't even break it. You understand?
Exactly.
So that's the kind of thing when we talk about the equity now. And those are some of the things that like Sandra doing from a venture capital standpoint and investor readiness and and so forth and Branson Center and so forth.
Shout out to the Branson Centers are doing it.
To develop that level of discipline. People keep their money in their pocket because them feel like you get an investment, you go buy a X6 Virgin. You understand?
Like, trap that.
Buy a big car and you just live it up.
Yeah. The CEO title versus CEO job.
Yeah, and then 10 years ago, nobody now join the boards.
That's true.
Like the people who know it. Like when I started asking big experienced people for join boards, but no young people my age never ask people for join board, Bridget. Man want money for spend the way them want spend it.
That's right.
You understand? So when we get the Sagicor investments, when Donovan Perkins come and say, yo, Tyrone, we're investing in like you have a board, I would say, yeah, I have an advisory board, Chris and Sherry, I will meet every month. And we can send you the minutes. Right?
Immediate change that.
It's like
It's
like, really?
Yep. Can use invest in some you feel like
and then you start
you
fix
teach
up
them.
You start fix up shop.
Yeah, because well, if you tell me that, I have to come there and see what you tell me.
Yeah.
That,
Right. But when them come, we say, yeah, we have it. Yeah, man, we're good. And it's like, yo, you need a chairman. When Donovan Perkins say, yo, 7 board seats, you choose 4, including the chairman, but we have to say yes to the chairman, and we choose 3 directors. Say, all right, cool. We know which chairman we want. And him say, who you want? I say, Richard Biles, been want him. And I say, good luck. and when I go to Richard, young people my age never go to.
No, man. Remember the first time I said that, man, I said Richard Biles investing in Tyrone. It wasn't there was no iCreate. It was eMedia. Big deal.
Yeah.
How him pull that off?
People weren't going for those things. So that's the thing. You kind of like back to the point of developing our venture capital, private equity market, and even the damn stock exchange because it still needs developing. Every young entrepreneur will come to me and say, "Oh, me do it." I say, "Yo, come check me." 1 month after listing, I kept a workshop.
How to list?
How to list?
Yes.
Because listen, I don't want to be the only young entrepreneur there. We need other people for come in and like create a little new wave of young people in business who are taking risk and reaping success and brush themselves off when them fall and everything. So
and just doing the story, the beauty of stock market is, even the failures are a story that grow the market, And there's no failures necessarily for you, right? Matter of fact, one of the biggest rebuttals I have for when I talk to people about criticism and them talk about iCreate or touching iCreate a little bit again. I tell them, let me tell you something what I like. I look at Tyrone somebody end with a loss. If the man was going to hide something, I'm pretty sure I'm going to try to push towards a profit, right? What I don't have with your company is any doubt that the numbers he's sending to me are real, right? Of course, at the end of the day, I still read what the auditors say. But we've seen where that can go bad. We've seen where auditors can step back. I don't see your auditor running back from me. I hope I never ever see that, right?
No man, our board no play.
All right, thank you. The
Right.
shareholders want either, so I like that. Yeah, and truth, you build whole for people. Shout him out a couple episodes. We have a Dre on this. Big up, attacking Dre. We have a Dre on this
Yeah,
podcast.
and Dre said Tyrone basically starting career.
Yeah, Tyrone give me
Yeah,
boss.
Dre.
Yeah, and I say so. There's a whole heap of people that you help push to a point of them being able to answer the things on their own. I want to do the shout out because I never get it right. The guy who's an iCreate graduate at Film Cave on Twitter. Big up at Film Cave. I don't know him
Check
real
that
name.
out.
But people, if you don't want a copywriter, him know him thing. Him shoot the ad. I'm very professional too.
Okay.
To the point where I feel bad because I send it to him. And him say, I'm going to get back to you X time. Him get back to you X time. Send me the email and him come to me and ask me for feedback.
Yes.
And me too busy forgive me. But big up at Film Cave. Anybody out there, agency, anybody that look for a good
Copywriter.
content writer, copywriter, at Film Cave on Twitter. Big up at Film Cave. I hope you get something out for that, boss. No fee. But yeah, glad for that. Really, really glad for that, Tyrone. So I don't know what else you want to tell me about. You tell me about you tell me about Kintyre. You tell me about the private equity. I'm glad to see people do it. I see you grow the thing. So I don't know what you have in mind next.
I mean, just have to say Reggae Sunswash 2020. look
There we
good.
go. Yo, big up the Adams. Put that newspaper. Get everybody excited.
No man, we're excited about Sunsplash. It's good for iCreate too. There's a lot of creative talent work on these shows, you know. And our students will get the opportunity to work on it first and to like
See an actual production put
Production,
together. Yeah.
part of it.
Undergoing
behind the
experience.
scenes every year. So
Oh, yes.
I mean, we're excited.
Yes, annual show. So
I don't know one time thing.
The man, you know that's the final exam. You know?
Yeah, so we're excited about Reggae Sunsplash.
And I'm excited. Jamaican pride, you bring it back. It hasn't
Bring
been
it
here
back.
for how long?
like 13 years.
How you pull it off?
Guardsman, they
Big up Kenny
own-
Benjamin.
Kenny Guardsman own the brand. But they invested with us last year in the parent company, eMedia, and it's almost like an acquisition of sorts, but a licensing. So you can look on it like you will buy another business.
Yes,
You know,
essentially.
like
Because that is an
essentially.
entire business. Yeah.
And the synergy just nice. That's all.
These festivals are big,
Yes.
you know, like huge in terms of revenue. Like you can list Reggae Sunsplash.
Yes.
You can like,
Yes.
and it will dwarf some of the other junior market companies in
Easily.
terms of revenue and profits.
Easily. Yeah.
It's successful. So it's one of those type of businesses that we're excited about. It's like a next level for us. It's taking us into a whole different area. It's creative economy, but it's music, it's entertainment. We've never done it before, but
So you know you have the naysayers right at your back.
just
Okay.
like
Why-
iCreate.
What Tyrone
Just
know?
like iCreate.
Just like iCreate. Just like eMedia. Just
Yeah.
like TV.
Yeah, I improved them already, so it's next.
So the,
Yes.
the,
Go
key,
again.
the key though, and this now is the CEO part, right? With Sunsplash, it's been more the CEO than the entrepreneur. So you find the good people
And put them in the
them in the
spaces.
right
in the
place,
space.
yeah.
So we have Robert Stewart, who Chuckles is his nickname, who is a tour manager for festival, is a producer for Buju Banton Long Walk to Freedom. So he produced it, and he's also the producer for Buju Tours. One of the best in the industry. You not get better than Chuckles.
Oh, it speaks for himself. Everybody up till Bujo's show actually was finished in stadium. Everybody was sure it was going to be a failure.
Yeah, man.
I see that.
Yeah. And look how that worked out.
You don't get no better than that. We have Jerome from Headline and so forth. So we have some good people. My job now is to kind of put together a creative vision and paint the big picture, and we just all make it work. We frame it. So we're excited about that. A lot of work. We're 1 year away. Raising some funds now. And you know, of course, a private company, but it's a public business because this festival, you know if it flop or you know if it's
Everybody will know right off the bat. Yeah.
So it's there. So you're quasi listed with a festival.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah, but we're excited about it.
I like that. Well, you know, so you want to ask him, Danhai, we're running to the hard part now. We always wrap with the hard part. We ask all the people.
So think the right name. I was looking at, you mentioned a company that LinkedIn bought.
Linda.
Yeah, so
.com.
how you see yourself, iCreate positioning themselves in that market, the online market, because as you say, creatives, they can market themselves to the world. So look at Jamaican person.
Yeah. It's an evolution. It's you'd be fooled to think that that's not the next step. You know? Because we're new at it, you have to master how to teach it in person. And then you find the best balance between technology and real life, you know, in person, physical training, because the good thing is skill training. So you get away with short courses online. You know, with the degrees, it's a little bit tougher. This type of degree, you know, creative courses in a degree format online, it's tougher. But you get away with the online short skills training. So that's the next level. Like, we're just kind of mastering delivering it in person, and then we're going to take it and put it online.
Put to the world.
I like that. And so you're pushing online. I like that. Because there was a question as to why you're pushing such a heavy effort and emphasis on the in-person. I have to visit. You know, it's pretty much you started at school. Yeah, but the truth also, I would think, is that from a school you can scale.
Yeah, imagine you just go push it online.
Google Classroom and a lot of other technology.
And a whole heap of things. That's I myself have looked at that. So I like that.
A good look, yes.
Yeah, I like that. Yeah, I might actually put some money, Tyrone. Might convince,
Reach your price in a boss.
Yeah,
You should.
I should. Confidence you. I like that. All right, hard question. Tell me some stocks you like. If you buy 3 stocks, which stocks you buy for the rest of this year? You can't say iCreate. I say iCreate and get it out of the way.
iCreate.
There we go.
I say I have 3 more now.
You have 3 more.
And iCreate.
No, man. You can't, man. You have 3. You have 3 more.
Listen, I love what's happening on the market, right? I'm gonna pick one that everybody's picking,
which is
NCB.
What are you, man?
Right?
Okay.
But I say why? For me, you invest in people.
There we go.
You're investing in Patrick. And you're investing in Michael Lee Chin.
There we go.
And if you look at what those guys have been doing, the entire team at NCB, they're just getting started. You know?
Yep.
Like Guardian deal
is literally startup level stuff. Startup level stuff at a huge scale.
Right? At a huge scale.
Yeah.
But you know the joke? Everybody I tell you it's NCB done.
It's just getting started. It is literally just getting started.
Yep.
Right? A company that wanted to list on the stock exchange in
the US.
New York Stock Exchange, I think.
NASDAQ, I think it was. They tried a couple of years ago,
I feel that's going to happen.
It's almost inevitable. At this point, it's a matter of do they want to.
People just set up for the wrong reasons. To
it's like at some point it's going to happen. Right? NCB is a giant, but a giant that is just moving into new territory. So that company is going to move. And then you look at the leadership, right? You know, a lot of young people there at high leadership levels.
Positions,
So you think about succession. And how are you going to continue what is happening?
Yeah, man.
Right? Patrick Young, you know, when I got PSOJ 50 under 50, Patrick
meant
was
to touch
an
on
awardee.
that. Yes. Matter of fact, I like you mentioned that. Let me tell you something. The PSOJ, I hear Sandra Glasgow was in charge of that. She put together. Let me take Sandra, big her up.
Yeah, man.
I'm gonna put you'll see it in the show notes, but there's a picture of the 50 under 50 and the section that he's in. Is
financiers.
You're in the financiers?
Oh, you're talking me?
You.
Shot callers.
Yeah, he's in the shot callers. And the shot callers, I mean, it's a picture. If you can paint a picture of the future, that is the way to do it. It's Tyrone. You remember Kimala, Bennett, big up Kimala every day, every time. Delano Forbes of Phase 3.
And Storm Salter.
Everybody
doing that thing.
All the movies he named earlier, Storm Salter. Everybody doing thing. Kimala, the lab. Tyrone, iCreate plus Kintyre plus all the other things. It is literally, I mean, Phase 3 at this point. I make a tweet where they say the only them can do is list. But I hope that will be fixed at some point in the future.
You know, when I saw the lab's prospectus and their global outlook, I said they want My produce ads and
I've
and
known Kimala
the level
for years.
up there.
I've known Kimala for years. She's just getting started.
Yes.
Believe that.
And I say iCreate feeds into that.
Yeah.
So if them going on a global scale, they'll be taking on more
We're
business.
feeding
so
into everybody
more people-
that's in
definitely
that
see that.
space. Main
Yes.
event,
Yes.
you
So-
know, phase 3.
You are
sports
training the market
max, right?
That's why I said in terms of the long-term outlook, there is no question to
Yeah,
it.
to me, it just look like
Yeah. At
stuff
some
going.
point, let me tell you what's funny. At some point, and I'm sure people quote me on this, maybe the next 5 to 7, maybe I'll be nice and say 5 to 10 years. I like to be generous. People might look back and go, right, look, could I buy it at 70
70
cents?
cents.
Yeah, I might say that. Yeah, I might say that. I could say that.
So that's the thing. NCB. For
So I
those
like that.
reasons,
Yeah. You know, I never give you the parameters, but let's say you're
Yeah,
picking for the next 5 years and put it under the same parameters. So NCB
for
still
the next
fits.
5 years,
5 to 10.
they're just getting started.
I'm with you on that.
They
NCB. Boom.
They are just getting started.
Literally.
The market, from a financial perspective, is still very small. The banked and the unbanked. The people who are buying stocks and who aren't buying stocks. Even
Tiny
the
percentage of-
life insurance market that they're going in, right? So you think about that company, right? So let me split it. You know, junior market and senior market. So
All right.
NCB is
Same thing me they do and you they do it. It's very annoying thing. You don't want to come on the
So
podcast.
listen to the last episode.
yeah, so the NCB is a senior market company. From a junior market, I'm not gonna go with a financial company. Wow, this one is tough. On the junior market,
But it's 5 to 10.
5 to 10 years from now. Wow.
Take your time. There's no pressure.
Yeah, I like Fontana for several reasons. They were my client, agency standpoint, so I got, in-house exposure to them and how passionate they are about what they do. Their global
Outlook.
first world thinking as
Yes.
it relates to their business, right? Which is what brought them to where they are now. I love Fontana. I see they grow 400% recently, and they're gonna continue to grow profit and stock price. I'm not saying that's my pick. I'm just shouting them out.
Okay.
But from a pick, I'd say the lab.
Well, you know, doing that.
Yeah, and,
But I
and,
almost
I wouldn't
wanted
make
it.
it. I wouldn't make you get it.
and why I said the lab again is because people, right? As I tell you, like for me, I buy people, I buy stocks, buy people, and Kimala, you can't sleep on Kimala.
Trust me.
She is, of course, I want to say it, a female, and we tend to not. We still have a lot of bias when it comes to females in a lot of things in Jamaica.
Including business in Jamaica.
Including
Yeah.
business in
Yeah.
Jamaica. And I can tell you, from a business standpoint, in this creative economy, Kimala is going to create some damage. And I'm not talking from an inside perspective because
I'm not talking.
Yeah, I'm just talking just based on the fact that I've known her for 10 years.
Yeah, if you know
Since I
Kimala,
started
she's
my
not
business
there
until
around. Yeah.
now. And I know that she's very committed to what she does. She's passionate about it. She understands the business, and she's also a developer of people.
Yes.
So there are people who can also fill her shoes down the line. And we're talking about 5 to 10 years. Definitely you're going to want to look at the lab.
Easy bet.
so-
I like that.
yeah.
Strong. Give me one more for rapid.
One more.
Yeah.
Junior, senior.
Anyone, your choice.
So funny, I do love we heavily skewed finance, right? But I'm going to say Sagicor.
Okay.
And why I'm going to say Sagicor is because, of course, I know the people. Again, the leadership, right? The youth that exists in the group. Sagicor has some areas that, I didn't want them to get out of the tourism and resort business
Neither did I.
Neither did we.
Neither did we. It was a big deal to
I
us.
think they made a good deal though with the player.
Along
Yeah.
the way,
And if we're looking closely on the tourism industry, I'm not going to say anything, but if we're looking closely on the tourism industry, I don't think they should have. But you see, it's a smart move because that business is a business in itself. Right? So you're either going to do it properly or you're not going to do it at all.
Yep.
So you can understand why they'll move that way. But Sagicor, who was it that bought?
So Sagicor X Fund bought Playa shares.
And Sagicor Group itself
Playa,
took a
yeah.
piece.
The
And Sagicor itself own a
the
piece of
X-Fund
it.
sold their
The hotels.
hotel own.
To Playa and then
Playa.
use part of the money to buy into the Playa group.
With the
Yeah.
exception of, I think, Palmyra.
Yeah.
A couple others. That still, I think that still exists within the group, within the X Fund. But, insurance market is going to grow, continue to grow. We're going to have competition from NCB, of course, with the Guardian. But, banking is still very small.
Very small in
within
Jamaica.
the group.
Yeah.
And Charvel is a great leader. No
Top.
more from proven.
Top.
Right? And Zaka move like Brogard.
Yeah. I mean, I'll admit to being doubtful when I saw him going there, but I mean, since him going, if you consider the footprint,
move like Brogard.
Money time.
Right? They just bought Advantage. Mark knows the general insurance business. And then, of course, Kevin over by Sagicor Investments is doing all sort of new and innovative things.
Yeah, which is a heavy field to be into, competitive.
To be that innovative and stuff. And I know Kevin from when I was getting my first investment from Pan Caribbean when he was there and so forth. So, again, all of those people that I mentioned are young, and I think Sagicor is gonna. I'm watching the new parent company, but they're gonna continue to do some damage, and they're gonna grow.
Yeah,
and they're gonna grow, not small growth, profit wise. Once everything has been integrated, and this new Sagicor,
comes
showing
out.
themselves.
That's true. Matter of fact, you even touch it. Remember, say them buy Scotia Jamaica's insurance package too.
Right.
Yeah, then buy NCB's insurance package locally. Yeah,
right. So this new Sagicor, I would like to call it, is gonna do some damage too.
Yep.
So
Shout
they're
out to
still
company.
making record profits.
Yeah.
Every year.
Yeah,
Since Biles took over.
And I see more
till when he
coming
left
on board.
Zaka. So people might look at these businesses and say, billions of dollars profit, how much more can they grow? Just watch.
Just watch.
We're not reach
no way to Jamaica
I like that.
Yeah. So that's my.
That's your thing. I like that. Well, we can wrap it up. You see, face. We got business, we got life. But what you think? I mean, we your long term. At some point, you hire CEO, go chairman, and I don't know, start run, go into politics, something.
Boy, I don't even know.
You don't know.
I'd rather say I'm not. I won't say
Man could even say yes, politics. 20 years on that, I can say, I might show himself from first, and I'm a draw feed.
No, we just love
the most honorable Burgard.
No, but right now we're just just at work.
Concentrating on iCreate. I like that. So thank you very much. As always, probably honestly one of the most open CEOs on the exchange. Yeah. So big up for that. Thank you very, very much. I don't want to carry too long. We've gone almost 2 hours. Some people can't take the long length. Some people like it. But yeah, this has been earnings season. I've been at RT Row.
And at Danhai.
There we go. And of course, a wonderful guest of ours, one and only.
Tyrone Wilson.
There we go. You want to get me at Tyrone? Then we can pressure you on Twitter.
Why? At call Tyrone __ W.
There we go. Yeah. Of course, all links in the bio. Shout out to the producer, Bam Productions Studios. Yeah, man. Big up Jamaica Podcast Network, of course. So thank you very much. This has been earnings season. Hope you guys liked it. Look out for us next week.
All right, guys.
All right. Respect.